prosperity akose, it is a spiritual remedy. It is used when you have spiritual issues that are connected to wealth, wealth management, wealth accumulation, things like that. So it can be used for many different purposes, and it is very, very beneficial in so many different ways. Prosperity work in Ifa, understand this, it is not about chasing money or trying to force money to just come through. It's not this money manifestation type of vibe that goes on a lot of times where you're going to force the money. You're going to compel it to come through by any means necessary. That's not what it's about at all. Instead, prosperity akose is actually meant to support your destiny, your overall well-being. So that means that it's about being in alignment with your destiny. So how you get the money once you take akose is going to be based on your individual destiny. That's why it doesn't look the same for every individual. You're not even going to have the same results or manifestation because it's based on what you need at that particular time. There are other types of prosperity work, and they oftentimes just go hand in hand. So I talked about before, you can absolutely use things like the charms and the amulets and the reikis to attract wealth or prosperity to you. You can use Evo as part of this as well. And of course, you can use akose. So I'm going to break down how each of these components look, how they work together, etc., so you understand the difference before we get deep into the prosperity akose itself. So when we're talking about the charms, the amulets, the reikis, so you can wear different things on your body. Matter of fact, I purposely wore these today. These are for IJ. Her reikis that are associated with her essence. They have her essence in it. They be consecrated specifically for me. And so it invites that energy of wealth. That's the main orisha of wealth. So when you're using things like reikis, you are protecting and you're stabilizing your energy when it comes to that dynamic of prosperity. So there are also specific like charms and amulets that you can get that are not specifically associated with one orisha like IJ or another orisha, something like that. Now, what these can do is to help to, again, protect, stabilize your source of income, whether that be a job, whether that be a business, investment, etc. So these devices are basically for that, daily maintenance. They help to support peace and balance when it comes to your financial well-being. So it can help you in the workplace, right? If you're using certain types of mechanisms to keep that place calm so that you can even soak it along with your coworkers, clients, customers, also, of course, your boss, where maybe you get a little bit of promotions or favor, etc. when you're working with these types of devices. So they can absolutely affect very positive change when it comes to your wealth and prosperity if you're working with the right ones. When it comes to reikis, so you want to look at reikis that are specifically geared toward an energy that deals with finances. So like I said, IJ, Oshun, things like that. So these types of devices, the reikis, the charms, the amulets, etc., they can also help to enhance your motivation, your dedication when you're in the workforce, making you more productive and making you more inspired at work, because your holistic health is involved in you achieving prosperity in any form, but definitely financial prosperity, because if you're not feeling well, if you're sick enough, you won't even be able to work. But even so, if you're not sick to the point where you're incapacitated, you can't work, but you're just kind of sick because you're dealing with a toxic work environment, you're not going to enjoy it, and that's going to affect you all the way around. And in Ifa, again, everything is about balance. It's about alignment. So that's where we want to be. We're not trying to just get money just by any means necessary and be miserable in the process. Now, these devices can also help you to maintain your physical, mental, emotional balance, to avoid burnout, instability in the workplace, etc., etc. So they are absolutely great devices when you're dealing with general concerns related to prosperity and money. They can work as standalone devices if you don't have deep-seated issues, which I'm going to get to shortly. Now, when it comes to the Evo is sacrifices. Okay, these are the sacrifices and the offerings that we give to specific spiritual forces, the Orishas, the ancestors, Egbe, etc. Okay, these are necessary to help to prevent, ameliorate, or alleviate hardships, any type of hardships, but specifically we're talking about prosperity here. So we're going to focus in on financial hardship, right? Sacrifice is all about that dynamic of giving up something in order to get something greater in return. So sometimes you'll need to do that, especially if it comes up in an Ifa reading that, you may be having financial challenges, or they could be coming up in the future. You need to give an offering. It could be to Ajay, Oshun, or even other Orishas that are not specifically associated with wealth, but they may just be protecting you in that particular instance, depending on the energy, what's going on in your life at that time, what's going on energetically at that time, okay? So the Evo can address those potential or even current, both internal and external misalignments, because that's what it's about. It's about getting you back in balance and in alignment that can block or hinder your financial growth, your financial flow, and stability. So you may have to do that whenever you're dealing with financial issues. And, it's great either way, but understand the difference in, when you're going to you can use these daily, right? You use Leki's charm, things like that, pretty much every day if you have it related to prosperity. You use it for anything, but you can definitely use it every day if you're looking at it from a financial perspective. Now, with Evo, there are so many different use cases that it can come up for, but it can help you when there's issues with financial mismanagement on your end or somebody else's end. Any type of unexpected financial obligations come through and you need to be able to take care of that. You need extra money, major economic changes going on. So these big shifts that we're dealing with. Of course, everybody know COVID changed up a whole lot of things when it came to economics, displaced a lot of people. Now we're dealing with the phenomenon of AI. A lot of people are worried there about losing their job or their job dynamics changing, etc. So, those types of things are also disruptions that even threaten your livelihood. Any type of disruption that can threaten your livelihood. Evo can be very, very beneficial in those cases. Now, the topic at hand is akose. So akose is used when you have major spiritual blockages or when there are interferences by energetic forces that are really and truly deeply rooted, and they're not going to respond to either the Elekis, the amulets, the Evo, etc. alone. So we're usually going to use this in combination with these devices, especially the Evo, because when you take a akose, 9 times out of 10, you're going to also give a sacrifice to a specific deity, a specific Orisha, to help to magnify or amplify that energy of the akose. Those are very important devices as well. When we come to the notion of akose, we're talking about deep-seated things. So it can address individual or even so generational karmic patterns that are related to finances. So poverty, extreme poverty, so scarcity, a lack mindset, sudden financial collapse and things of that nature, money management issues, etc., etc. Again, these are the ones that are going to be deeply rooted. Akose is also going to be used when you're dealing with some type of heavy, deep spiritual attack. Because sometimes Evo can, flesh that out as well. But oftentimes, if you really want to get to that deep root, you want it to go faster, you want to see some results fairly quickly. And it depends. I'm not saying that it's going to happen in a certain amount of time. Nobody can tell you that. With the akose, we can also get to those deeply rooted spiritual attacks, any type of negative spell work that other people are bringing against you. If you're dealing with like ongoing misfortunes that just resist those normal solutions, the normal remedies that we deal with in IFA, you can definitely use akose for this, and it is very powerful. It can be super powerful, depending on, of course, if it's made properly, how you take it, etc. Akose can support pretty much every aspect of financial growth. It can, I should say, pretty much. It can help with every aspect of finances, right? So whether it's your career, whether you're on a business, if you're dealing with some creative projects, some side hustles, even if you're investing money, if you are dealing with situations where, you're looking for some unexpected opportunities to fall through, those things can absolutely be enhanced and advanced through akose.